So good day. So we are on our last topic, which is the biotechnologies. So I can just read through na lang on my notes because it's not, you can just read through your notes also. I'll just explain some of the things that are not on your notes, because there are things for the past 6 years. There are so many technologies that have been readily available. So we have biotechnology applications to supplement rather than replace conventional breeding should, however, be the norm in animal breeding. So currently, we have AI, we've discussed it already, as one of the biotechnologies that we practice here in the Philippines. But there are so many of them, actually, and some of the farms do have these biotechnologies readily available, but no, it's not readily available for the public. So we have here, you have a table, which this is from Bondo. So techniques in molecular genetics. So we have molecular markers, RLFP, or restriction, fragment length polymorphism, hypervariable mini-satellite DNA sites, oligonucleotide probes, and microsatellite analysis. Its application to animal improvement, it identifies individuals, breeds, lines, strains, and verify its parentage. So with this one, you have a biomarker. Remember when we were talking about the DNA in VMLE, the reason why Angelina Jolie have to cut her boobs, have a mastectomy? It is because she also has the biomarker for breast cancer. Remember, her mom died of breast cancer. So because she has the biomarker of developing breast cancer, she had a mastectomy, or she had her boobs removed. So with this one, with the biomarkers are quite unique per individual. So let's say you are from a lineage that is, I'm making an example in humans rather than in animals. For example, if your lineage is, let's say, you are diabetic and you got it from your mother. Remember, you are, again, your sex cells each of the chromosomes has a biomarker. These are the DNA that has your has the blueprint. So for example, let's say you can actually, for your sex chromosomes, for the females, your other X is from your mother, your other X comes from your dad. For the gentleman, your X is most likely from your mom, while your Y is most likely from your dad. Now, your X, females, ladies, your X that you got from your mom is also the same X that your mom got from your grandmother. And your grandmother also got that X from your great-grandmother, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested, I have an example of this if you guys want to have a remedial video regarding some of the questions that you would like to ask me, but you're so afraid to ask. I can make a video regarding this, and I'll make an example of a cold case. When you say cold case, a really, really old case where was this person buried. So it was found out that his identity was revealed because it turned out that his X chromosome is being shared by descendants. For the gentleman, okay, there's a cat over here. Her name is Luna. Hey Luna, hi. So for the gentleman, so your Y is the same Y that you got from your dad, and this is the same Y that your dad got from your grandfather, and it's the same Y that you got from your great grandfather. So your lineage can be traced by this one for the males, your Y chromosome, and the X chromosome for the females. It actually established the parentage. Another is removal or blocking of undesirable genes and eliminates the effect of undesirable genes. So if you notice, I don't know if you were the first batch of babies that have their cords saved, because the current trend right now is having their umbilical moms who are about to give birth, they save the umbilical cords of their offsprings just in case there is a genetic problem. So you can do that. Another is alteration of structural genes to change product quality. You can manipulate your, say you prefer males, so you can get rid of the females. Evaluation of candidates for selection. This includes identify animals bearing undesirable or desirable genetic characteristics. Use of genetic markers as, again, the biomarkers. Increase accuracy of selection and increase genetic variation available for selection, which is transgenic. And of course, we have gene transfer. Transfer of genes that are potentially more desirable than those existing within an individual from within or outside the species. One of the technologies that is widely used not just in animals but in humans is MOET, not the champagne brand, but it's actually an acronym for multiple ovulation and embryo transfer. When you see multiple ovulation, monotocous animal like the human and your horses and your cows can give birth, can produce, not give birth, produce more than one ovum. So this is quite practiced a lot, especially for women who have problems bearing children. What they do is they inject them with hormones, which we'll discuss a bit later, and they will ovulate more than one, and the doctors will harvest her eggs, and they will fertilize her eggs with her husband's, let's say husband's sperm in vitro. When you say in vitro, it's the Latin term for lab. So these are where the test tube babies are from. So with embryo transfer, you need to have more than one fertilized embryo. Chances are failure is part of the process. So there was, I've known a lot of women about my age who have trouble getting pregnant, and they actually have to bust their life savings just to get themselves pregnant. I know one who finally got pregnant, and right now her child is 1 year old. And it was a struggle for her because she shared it through social media once the baby was born. She took a photo of her child, and there was lots of her child was bordered with syringes, a heart border with syringes around her, and she opened up her struggle of getting pregnant, and it cost a lot because it's a trial and errors. There are some especially when you do embryo transfer, it's timing, and you also have to consider also genetics. Now, embryo transfer has been practiced in some countries. In the Philippines, we actually have one successful embryo transfer in Carabaos, and it was performed in Central Luzon State University, or CLSU. That was around 3 to 4 years ago. So CLSU, they actually got the technology from Thailand. The problem with this type of technology, it's just too expensive, and you really have to hire someone who is an expert in embryo transfer. If AI will take 6 months For this one, it will take years of training and the technology also. And we have in vitro, like embryo production. So this is where in vitro fertilization comes. Okay, hi Luna. Okay. We have a guest. Her name is Luna. She's a black cat. So one of the advances of techniques in the recovery of oocytes from the, so you have the ovum pickup. And then we have embryo splitting and cloning. So cloning, as you all know, has been around for quite some time, for almost 50 years. So, but with cloning, there's always that moral and ethical issue. So that's the problem with cloning. You can actually clone. One of our high school valedictorian is actually a molecular biologist, and she said that you can actually clone at your own kitchen. It's just that there's moral and ethical issues regarding about it. And for some strange reason, let's say for Dolly, we'll make Dolly as an example. Dolly may be the exact replica of the sheep where she was cloned from, but Dolly died earlier than the sheep that she was cloned from. For some strange reason, even her creators would say she may be a perfect copy, but clones tend to be more susceptible to certain diseases, even if they have the same copy as that immune system copy as that of the parent animal. So that's something that we're in. Okay, there might be someone or something of greater power there working behind the scenes. Then we have predetermining the sex of offspring. You can do this. So you separate the X and Y chromosomes, bearing sperm cells to produce the desired sex may increase its accuracy. Predetermining sex is also important applications in genetic conservation program, especially in species with smaller population. Chimeras. So if you're not familiar with chimeras, chimeras are, for example, the Sphinx. The Sphinx is an example of a chimera. It has a body of a lion, a human face. Other cultures that do have Sphinx, like the Greeks, they have wings of an eagle and a tail of a serpent. So these are interspecies and intergenous chimeras, could be used to generate new types of animals adaptable to harsh environments. However, this is useful only in research. And then we have cryopreservation. So I think one of you asked, I think it was Mr. Abad, asked regarding how long will a sperm, semen and sperm can live while in cryopreservation for AI. This was from AI. And I told them that it can last long. Even now that Fidel and the rest of the bulls are already dead, because Fidel was already 8 when I was there. Eric was around 5 when I was there. Their sperm is still present. They're still present. So you might be wondering, as long as it is properly preserved, it can last longer. Even longer than 20 years. So cryopreservation is widely available. So it's being practiced here in the Philippines. Next is Estro synchronization. So this is widely used in private farms, especially pig farms. So what they do is all the females will come into heat together. So almost at the same time. One of the advantages for estro synchronization is that if the farm is practicing AI, the technician will have them artificially inseminated in one go. And also you have to note, and you also have to make sure, and they also give birth at the same time as well. So In farms, in commercial pig farms, what they do is they usually have estro synchronization months leading towards marketing. So let's say June. So at around June, they will have estro synchronization, or July probably, and sell. And then the sows will give birth around October, and they will market already the piglets by November and December, which is actually the peak season for them. And that's ka-ching, ka-ching, that's money. So there are some drawbacks in estro synchronization. So for cows or heifers may already be pregnant, and PGF2, because they'll be using prostaglandin F2 alpha for this one. Will cause abortion when administered to pregnant females. We also have synchronization should also never be attempted until there is evidence that the beef cows have passed the postpartum and estrus period, especially when they are milking or nursing their young. Also, heifers must be checked to be sure they're still not in pre-pubertal anestrus. The hormones used for estrus synchronization, we have progesterone or progestins, prostaglandin F2 alpha, as I mentioned, and gonadotropin releasing hormone. Superovulation, wherein monotocous animals will release more than one ovum during ovulation, and the ones that they use, the hormones that they use are pregnant mare serum gonadotropin, follicle stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone. And then we have cloning. And on your notes, I provided the story how Dolly was cloned. So if you do have any questions, please do comment below. Since this is the last topic for this subject, this will be my parting question. If you are going to lead a government agency, what biotechnology would you like to promote and why? Again, if you have the capacity or opportunity to be a government worker or lead a government agency, particularly the Bureau of Animal Industries here in the Philippines, what biotechnology would you like to promote and why? I wish you all good luck for your exams, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care.